Hi, welcome to the DIY Family Channel. My name is Steve, and today what I'm going to show you is how to build a very simple shelf that's very inexpensive. All you have to do is go to one of your local hardware stores or go to a home improvement store and go to the lumber section. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick up some of these small shelf supports. They only cost around about $1 a piece. And then all you want to do is you want to get a simple piece of pine. And this is a 3/4 inch thick pine, and it was 48 inches long, and I cut it in half, and I'm going to make two 24-inch long shelves. This is all the rough material right here. What I've already done is I took the 24-inch piece of pine that I'm going to make this shelf out of, and I've sanded down the corners so that there's no rough edges, so that if you accidentally bump into it, you're not going to poke yourself or get hurt. And then just sand down the top and sand down the bottom real well. And then I took the supports and I sanded these down too. All you have to do is just get some fine sandpaper and then just hand sand them so they're nice and smooth and you don't have any rough edges. So what you're going to do is you're going to decide which side that you're going to make your back. And since this is the rounded part, I'm going to make this side my back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to find my center point first. And I know this is 24 inches long, so I'm going to find 12 inches to the center. So I'm just going to measure off 12 inches, which is simple. It's just a ruler. And you mark that. And then from there, you have to decide how far out you want to put the other supports. You can put them all the way to the edge if you want to, or you can put them a little bit towards the center. And I'll show you one that I've already done. This is a finished one, and this one I've already lacquered. And this part right here I cut out because I used to have this shelf in my kitchen, and I cut this out so I could run the cords there for a phone I had on top of this. So in the end, you're going to have your 3 supports here, and then this is going to be the finished shelf. So I'm going to decide that since I have 12 inches here, I'm just going to move this over 6 inches. And I'm going to put my other support here so that they all look centered. So that'll be 6 inches. And then I'm going to go 6 inches the other way. I'm going to go 6 inches this way. And this shelf is really easy. You don't have to have any special woodworking tools, or you don't have to have any drills or anything like that. You don't need a table saw. You don't need a router or anything like that. Because the supports, when you buy them at the hardware store or the home improvement store, they've already got a decorative side to them. So what you're going to do is the side that has the bracket is going to face towards you, and this side is the side that you're going to glue down. So you're going to end up putting them on here like this, so it looks just like that. And then take some wood glue. And this is why you're not going to need any nails or screws or anything like that, because wood glue is extremely strong, and the bond that you're going to have between the 2 pieces is going to be more than enough to support anything that you want to put on this shelf. Granted, you're not going to be able to put 100 pounds or more, but you could probably put up to 30 or 40 pounds of stuff on this once you mount it on your wall. And it's going to be a very nice looking shelf, and you can stick it in your kitchen, you can put it in your laundry room, you can put it in your kids' room, you can put it in your bedroom, put your little knickknacks on there, any kind of little decorative things you want to put up on there. And then once you get done with that and you let it all dry, then what you're going to do is you're going to take some of this wood finish, and you can use stain, any stain you want. The one that I've chosen is called Golden Oak. So what we're going to do now is I'll just show you how to glue one of these pieces on there. And all you want to do is just take a very small amount of wood glue. You don't want a lot, because you don't want it oozing out of the edges once you press it down on the wood. And then you just want to put a little bit on here too. And then you can just smooth it out with your fingers. A little bit more than that. I'm just going to smooth it out with your fingers. I usually keep a wet rag or a wet towel or something around here just to wipe my hands off with. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on here in the center of where my mark was. And you want to make sure that you get this even with the back of the shelf, so that when you mount it on the wall, you don't end up having any gaps. And all you have to do is eyeball it. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to use a straight edge, or you don't have to use anything like that in order to make it perfectly straight. And then you just want to make sure that it's completely flush with this side here. And always make sure that you glue the side down that doesn't have the mounting bracket. And then you're going to do the same thing with the other two pieces. I'm just going to put a little bit of wood glue on here. And you're going to put a little bit of wood glue on the shelf. And it's just going to be right where you had your mark at. And you just smooth it out a little bit. Just like that. And like I said, you don't need an extreme amount of glue, because if you do, then you're just going to have all this glue oozing out from under the wood. And then when you go to stain it, the stain is not going to stain the glue, and you're end up going to have a part of the wood that isn't stained. So all you do is line this back up and make sure it's flush. And just eyeball it so it's straight. And you have a little bit of time to play around with it before the wood glue starts to set up. And if you do end up having a little bit that oozes out, you can wipe it off, and you can take a wet towel and just make sure that you get all of the glue off, so that when you go to stain it, you're not staining over top of the glue, and then it doesn't stain the wood. Glue. Get it on there good. And then you're going to do the same thing with this one. You're just going to line it up so it's straight and it's level with the back of the shelf. And then all you have to do is just make sure it's straight. Once they're all straight, just clean up any excess glue that you have. And as you can see, the wood glue is already starting to set up because it isn't falling off. So there you go. I mean, that's very simple and it's very easy. I have a shelf over here that I built earlier. And this is a much larger one, and as you can see, it's got more supports on it because I hung a lot heavier stuff on it. And it's really that simple. And then all you have to do when you're done is take your stain, and you can pick this up for just a couple bucks at the hardware store or the home improvement store. You can get a foam brush, or you can get a paint brush, or whatever's easier for you. And then all you have to do is just stain it. You should typically let the wood glue completely dry for several hours before you do this, but I'm just showing this to you for demonstration. And then after you let that dry, if you want, you can get a lacquer, or you can get a clear coat or something like that, like on this one that I showed you before, and it's got much more of a shiny, glossy look to it. And that's it. That's a very simple, basic way to make an inexpensive shelf so that you can hang things in any room that you want. I'm Steve, and so for the DIY family, I hope you have fun building this and enjoy.